Human nature is the thing that drives the price of cryptocurrency. We're talking about crowd psychology. Today, I'm going to show you a unique and powerful methodology where you can read the psychology of the market so you know what it's likely to do. And today's focus is going to be on Binance Coin, BNB, the bullish case for it hitting around $500 to $600 over the coming months, by or before September. So if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and let's dive straight into BNB. So we're on a live chart, and this is what we're going to do. I'm going to delete all of this in a second, but this is the analysis of crowd psychology. Markets tend to move in fives and threes. What we see with BNB is a nice five-wave move to the upside. We're probably going to get some type of three-wave correction, and I'm going to break this down in detail for you. And then the next typical human nature crowd psychology of just fear and greed and the way the markets tend to unfold time and time again is a nice bullish move to either the $500 mark to the $600 mark over the coming months. So we're going to delete all of this and I'm going to go for it step by step, because if you can do this and see the fives and the threes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and ABCs, I'm telling you, you'll see the whole market in a whole new light. And by the way, if you want to learn how to do Elliott Waves, make sure you take advantage of my free membership area where we've now uploaded some bonus free training, the Elliott Wave Basics and Fibonacci Price Basics. It's really, really powerful. Take your whole trading to a whole new level. How do you get it? In the link below, just go to the free Bitcoin report area and there's a free membership area. I do a lot of value. Bitcoin updates, timely updates, as well as some bonus training, just so you can help see how the markets tend to respond to fear and greed. So let's get rid of all of this, and I'm gonna show you how to do this because it's very, very powerful. Let's just get rid of all of it. It's very logical, very objective. This allows us to manage our emotions and see what the market is likely to do. So now we've got some price action, right? Which is what we're looking at over here with BNB. And what you should always be looking for is that the market moving in a 5 or a 3. Now, when I'm looking at this with Binance Coin, it seems really clear. And we're going to draw this on. We had a nice move up, some type of correction, a nice impulsive move up, a three-wave correction, and then a nice move up. And when you see a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there are some Elliott Wave rules, by the way, and I cover that in the bonus training. You want to know what typically follows is an ABC style correction. And that correction normally takes a typical amount of time and it normally drops down to a typical price. And we want to go with the edge. What's the most common buying and selling behavior so we know when we should short the market or be taking profits and waiting patiently for the next run up and what that's going to look like. So let's just draw it onto the chart. We're on TradingView right now. There's some very cool tools, one of which is called the Elliott Impulsive Wave. So we're just going to draw this on. We're going to call this a wave 1, 2, 3. Now it looks like a deep wave 4, three-wave structure, especially now we've got this impulsive move up. So that looks like a pretty clean wave 5. Now there are multiple degrees of wave counts. So I'm not going to go into too much detail there today because that's a bit more advanced. What we want to just know is what is the typical behavior of any market, whether it's BNB, Bitcoin, or even other markets like the Euro USD, whether it's gold, whether it's stock markets, literally how the markets tend to respond. Typically, it's an ABC correction. But what you want to know is it takes a particular amount of time and price. So there's some Fibonacci time ratios on TradingView. It's called trend-based Fib time. And I'm not going to, again, go into too much detail. But what we want to know is there's a particular ratio on how long it takes for a correction to complete. And it's this green and red line. We can actually get rid of this one. Let me just get rid of this one. So we know, well, I know, it's likely that BNB is going to be sideways to down at least until the 22nd of April, right? That's the typical. Now, it doesn't mean it's guaranteed to be that way, but it's more than likely. So we know a correction shouldn't be complete for the next maybe 4 weeks, 3-4 weeks. How about price? Well, once a market has moved impulsive to the upside, it typically has a retracement. And just keeping it really simple, really basic, the most common, I'm going to show you this, is a minimum of 50% and a maximum of 78.6%. So now all of a sudden we have a time and price target zone. Now we're forecasting because this has not happened, but it's more than likely the market's going to do something like this, something more than likely like this. As more price data unfolds, we can literally read the market as if we are reading a book. And remember, I'm going to finish on a quote today, but W.D. Gann, one of the forefathers of technical analysis back in, way back, man, 1800s, said, look, human nature, you want to be able to read human nature. And one of the best ways of reading human nature when it comes to the markets is Elliott wave theory. So again, make sure you're taking advantage of not only the Bitcoin report, you're just going to get some real cool training on how to read human nature with Elliott waves. We do have some advanced training as well that's paid for, but you can test out the free training just to see how it really goes into your methodology and reading the markets. Again, just keep in mind, we always want to just get the edge. All right, so what typically happens after a 5 and a 3, right? So what I'm going to tell you here is a little bit advanced. We won't go, I'll go into some detail, but not too much detail. So this looks like it's the first wave up to the upside of a 5-wave move. And we call it a wave 5 of a wave 1. It's like the initial move to the upside. So the market has moved up in a 5-wave sequence, and we call this a wave 1. So it's broken down to a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then this ABC correction, well, guess what? It's of a wave 2. That's what it's looking likely to be. There are a few other wave counts as well, but this is the most high probability scenario. Now, there are a few factors that we want to be aware of that if certain things occur, it can void the wave count, one of which is the price going below this low over here. Right? As long as it doesn't go below that low over here, the price of $221, then this wave count is good. So what typically follows a wave 2 is a wave 3. And what you want to know about wave 3s, and it's really clear over here. If I just show you this, you see this wave 3? You see how much bigger it is than this wave 1. And it's bigger than wave 5. So one of the Elliott wave rules is wave 3 cannot be the shortest. And more often than not, it's the most aggressive. And this next wave 3 is a special wave 3 if it occurs, because it's something called a wave 3 of a wave 3. And they tend to be very aggressive to the upside. So that's really positive if you're looking to go long in terms of buying BNB. So let's just break this down on what are the typical, most common wave 3 price targets. Now, on TradingView, you have a tool called Trend-Based Fib Extensions. I cover it a bit in the free training. It's in the link below. Take advantage of it. But here, I'm just going to, again, we're forecasting. So we don't have this data yet because this correction is not complete. It's not confirmed that it's complete. So we're just anticipating what's likely to occur. So we're just going to measure how aggressive was this, what we're calling a wave 5 of a wave 1, or it's just a wave 1. And then we're going to project it from this point here. We'll just project it from this point over here. I'll go a bit lower here. I'm just going to zoom it in like this. So we've got two targets. The most common, most typical wave 3 zone is something called a 1.618 extension. You go, what? Now remember, WD again, human nature. What we're measuring here is human nature. And what Fibonacci shows, what Fibonacci ratios show up in human nature time and time again. And what some very clever individuals, Ralph Nelson Elliott, another gentleman called Collins, and there's all the studies done back in the 1800s, 1900s, they figured out that these Fibonacci ratios occur in buying and selling behavior. So that allows us to see the most typical human nature crowd psychology buying behavior that's likely to occur over the coming months. And the two typical zones that you want to be aware of, it's called the 1.618. That's what this is here, 1.618. So this price zone over here, which is around $475. And then the next more aggressive price zone is the 2.618 extension, which is just around the $600 mark, thereabouts, give or take. So now what this does is it gives us a feel of what the market is likely to do. But then you should have a question. Like, Jigay, how long is a typical wave 3? Like, how long should it take? Well, we can actually project that in advance as well. Again, we're forecasting right now, so we just kind of take this with a pinch of salt, because as the market unfolds, we can do more accurate analysis, especially if this wave C is forming as we anticipate. So what are the two things? Well, we're going to go back to the Fibonacci time ratios. We're going to do two things. We're going to measure how long did it take for this wave 1 to occur, and we're going to project it from this end of wave 2. And again, it's not confirmed yet, but the minimum time that wave 3 would be is the same length of time as wave 3. And then the typical maximum is, it's called a low to high ratio. We're taking this beginning of this, end of this, and we're projecting it forward. It's just slightly off the screen. So I'm just going to squeeze it in over here. So now all of a sudden, we have a nice target zone of both price and time. So now what we're saying is with BNB, Bitcoin is very, very similar to this, by the way, is likely we're going to see some type of correction, and it's begun already. It looks like it's begun already. After this correction, we're probably going to see a continuation of the trend to a minimum of the $474 mark, possibly overextended into the $600 mark. And what do we call this? Well, we call this a wave 3. Now, technically, we're talking about something called a wave 3 of 3. So I'm actually going to write it like this, wave 3 of 3. Well, that says 2, 3, there. And there you have it. That's how you read crowd psychology in a practical, objective, non-emotional manner. And what this allows you to do, especially if you combine it with a few other factors, especially with some momentum indicators, which can be really, really powerful, is it allows you to be objective with the market. So you're not falling into the trap of fear and greed. So if you got value from today, share this video, especially if you know other people that are holding BNB. But this applies to all markets and all time frames. So like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Let's finish today with the quote, and we'll read it now. It's from W.D. Gann, one of the forefathers of technical analysis. And he said, a successful trader studies human nature and does the opposite of what the general public does. Why? What's the most common thing that retail investors do? Well, they get caught up into the peak of the market where the euphoria is the highest. So it's the fear of missing out, also known as FOMO, and people buy near the top. What you want to be doing is selling near the top. Really, really important. And then when the fear is the strongest, also known as a wave 2 or an ABC correction, when the fear is the strongest and people are panic selling, they're panic selling or they're just making mistakes. So the fear is the highest. Most people are selling near the bottom, especially when they're at a loss. You want to be buying near the bottom and selling near the top. And it's not natural in terms of, it's not intuitive to do. So you need a methodology that allows you to see what the market is not showing you via your emotions. And Elliott Wave and Fibonacci, by far, in my 15 years of trading experience, is the best. So if you got value from today, make sure you support the channel. A like and a subscribe would be much appreciated. We're going to keep a very close eye on the market. Bitcoin report, we're going to do an update soon as well. So do download that. And I'll see you hopefully in my private Telegram area.